Select your character. Noel Vermilion, Jin Kisaragi.
Alright, can anybody hear me? Should be able to hear me by now. Okay, good. Let's see. Go back to advice. Let's see. Alright. Got to that piece. Alright, cool. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, my mic is not the best at the moment. Probably need to get a new one for Christmas or something like that. Let's see. Is my mic still okay though? Let me know. Can anyone hear me? Alright, cool. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and try to tackle some of the stuff from the last time I did a stream. I didn't get a chance to get to everything. Kinda had to leave abruptly and whatnot. Yep, I am a somewhat busy man outside of the Ways Blue world, so hopefully we try to get everything else covered here. Okay, so let's go back to this list. Okay, so the last time we were here, let's see, went over 6D and 2D, about why they're bad to use and neutral overall, and alternatives about using them overall, and commitments or risk involved using Drive, which we did discuss in the last stream. By the way, if you guys haven't seen the last stream, please go to the last stream video. It's on my YouTube channel on Lith, so you can catch that there. It's about like a 2-hour one. It's not the best stream quality ever because it's actually like my first and second time doing stream, so pardon any of the interruptions and bad setup. I mean, it's not the best, but hey, it's something. So pardon the terrible quality of the stream itself. But yeah, going over the list from the last time, we do need to go over Oki. So we're going to go over Noel's Oki game, specifically in the corner, and this screen will cover that as well. How to chase airborne targets, basically how to deal with it in general, dealing with those certain characters. Something like Tao or Valkyrie, or even like Izanami. Those are prime examples of like characters who have superior air game. Dealing with bigger normals than you, 9, Kagura, Akubin, etc. And then rapid councils and gimmicks and stuff of that sort of nature. So those are some stuff we're going to be covering this time. So first thing I feel we should probably deal with, let's go over like airborne targets and giant normals. Let me go over that first. So let's see. Hopefully my controller isn't being addicted to me, which probably is. Alright, cool. So, sorry about that. Every time I have to reconnect my controller, it's going to cause the stream to, fade out for a bit. So, I apologize for that. But I am using like a PS3, PS4 converter, so it's going to cause that to happen sometimes. Just a head up. Let me go down to options here. Background. Background is low. Sorry, I'm low.
Here comes a new challenger.
Oops.
Please select your character.
Alright. So let's go back here.
Select your character.
Go back to the struggle lifestyle.
Noel Vermilion. Jin Kisaragi.
Alright. Gonna go with Valkyrie. Good old fashioned training, I guess. Back in the days. Alright. So dealing with airborne targets. Let's go to pretty sure this one's Tao. But by the way, guys, if you guys know these kanjis, hiragana and katakanas, let me know. Kind of help me navigate through some of this stuff a little faster. Anyways, dealing with characters who have like better, air options. Like she got like triple jumps and stuff like that of sort of nature. So dealing with characters who have better air options like that, like have basically like double air dashes and stuff like that. People like Bang or Tao, for that matter, or Izanami. The thing about characters like these, you're technically not supposed to be chasing them. You're not supposed to. It's very similar to like how Radna kind of deals with certain characters like that as well. Like you kind of want to stay grounded. Noel doesn't really have a solid air game at all. If you notice, like JA is at a downward angle. You see that? That's a downward angle. So the hitbox is not really geared to hit upper, like towards the upper side of her arm and gun. It's not meant for that, really. It's not really that great. Whatnot. So it's really hard for her to use a JA to stuff something, really, under certain conditions. So it's not really that great. It's something, but it's not the greatest. And then JB is more horizontal. It's okay. It's decent. for what it is. It's more solid than you could probably use than JA in many cases. Actually, JB is underestimated in a lot of cases. It's actually a decent normal to throw out, especially on from ground to air. It's a solid response to a lot of things. It has a decent hitbox, actually. It's decent for what it is. So if you do plan to like do rising moves, like JB will probably be like a better rising move than JA in some cases, especially if they're more spaced out away from you. So that is a thing. You can also stop your position with that. Like if you're doing JC, it's kind of harder because it takes longer. It just depends how you super jumping into it, or if you just normal jumping. So yeah, so those are some things you can tell the difference. If you're trying to use JC on a normal jump, you actually cannot jump again to reposition yourself. Whereas in JB, even on normal jump, you still can jump again and still do other things. Ultra position, JB, block, stuff like that. Stuff that is important to know. So JC, right in JC is also a pretty solid move. If you want to throw out sort of preemptively as well, those are also things you can consider when going from ground to air. But like I said, her air options are not the best. It's actually pretty ass and whatnot. Like there are actually even times we use JC on the way down, it actually whips on a lot of characters. But yeah, but anyways. So, like I said, you mostly want to stay grounded. You don't really want to be chasing someone in the air, because that's going to put you in a situation where you don't have a lot of tools in the air to stop it. Like the only other thing you have that's solid enough in the air is like Aurora Blast, but the problem with that is you're stuck in the air with a special move that basically forces you to commit to this option, and then after that's been done, you can't do anything afterwards until you land. So that's the problem with that. So once you already go Rover Blast, you can't do any other options. You don't have any follow-up to that until you fall to the ground because you're stuck in landing recovery. So that's the only thing about that. But like I said, it pretty much boils down to the fact that Noel doesn't really have a good air game for the most part. The only other thing you have is J2C, but even then, it's more situational. It's a situational tool. So it pretty much just boils down back to what I said earlier. So whenever you're dealing with characters like that, you kind of want to just stay grounded for the most part. Kind of wait for them to do their thing, to come back in, and then try to take advantage of that. But you very rarely want to take it to the air with a lot of characters, especially people like Izanami, who has a better air game in a lot of various ways and whatnot. Even like characters like let's see if I can find them real quick. Nope. S is probably a pretty decent example of this. So if you know, S has huge range. Her normals are really big. You know, her range is really big. This is actually really impressive when trying to approach S in the air. It's really impressive. So really, like I said, you don't really want to take it to the air because they're just going to keep you out. Well, it doesn't really have the range to deal with something like that, so she'd pretty much rather stay grounded and kind of just deal with it from there. You know, it doesn't sound like the greatest thing ever, but you know, at the end of the day, welcome to, you know, the poverty lifestyle of fighting games when you're coming with the other two characters. So you kind of have to deal with it, unfortunately. But yeah, preemptive attacks may work depending upon how they're trying to control space, but even then, like I said, they do have the range to stop you. So it is what it is. This actually goes in ties with the last question, which was with the range, how to deal with big range normals. So again, when it comes to air game, the world doesn't really want to take it to the air. She pretty much stays grounded, wait for an opportunity to anti-air. Sometimes you can use something like 6C to somewhat try to anti-air, but again, that's not the best idea ever. You want to kind of make sure that you're spaced out, you know. So you kind of want to do that. Want to make sure you're kind of spaced out before that happens. Alright, let's get this back. I hate this controller. This converter. I might have to buy me a new one. But anyways, so for example, use 6C. That's kind of like an example. You don't really want to use 6C because it's a terrible anti-air for the most part, and it's very situational. But you can use it. You just have to be very wary of your spacing about it, because if you're not careful enough, you can't easily get hit out of it. You're in a lot of recovery frames using this in general. But it is a thing you can do, but it's not the best. I wouldn't recommend using it. You can, it's okay in certain matchups, but most of them, not really. You'd rather stick to 6A, even though this is still not the greatest option either, in comparison to other anti-airs in the game. Okay, so ground normals. Dealing with bigger ground normals. Like, obviously, like, ground normals like these that are like more horizontal and not like hitting towards the ground, which you can do in those cases. Like, you can 6D those. You can 6D. You can 4D. It depends on the normal itself, because not every one of them is the same. You can jump and JC or whatnot. Oddly enough, you can sort of JD because of the invincible frames that they just give it back in beginning of the patch. But that's not the greatest idea either, because they could just anti-air you. You know, they could just throw out like a general anti-air. Like S could just go like 6B and just smack you for free, sort of ish. Even though you can sort of use JD to somewhat M1 past the anti-air, but that can happen too. See that? So it's really dependent on like the execution of doing JD. Because if you don't do it right, you can get hit out on your JD attempt. But yeah, that is the thing. But you don't want to really just run up in JD though, because if they block that, they can just mash 2A on you and stuff like that. It's not the greatest thing to do. I would recommend doing that. So, dealing with ground normals, like that, it depends on like the normal itself. Let's just say we go back to someone like Ragna. Like in Ragna's case, like, because his 5B is more horizontal, but it's upward horizontal, like, notice how much space it is between his upper leg and the ground below him. See that? It's a lot of space. So, because of that, you can kind of low profile it. See that? Kind of low profile it. It's difficult to do, but if you time it right, you can kind of low profile it. 3C can low profile this as well. It's not the best thing ever, but it is the thing. You can use 2C as well, but it's difficult to catch that too. The only time you probably would catch this is like round start. Probably going from there. But yeah, but you can somewhat low profile, but you have to do it preemptively. So yeah, so that is what you would normally have to do in that situation. In 5C's case, like 5C from Ragna, what you would normally have to do, you can 6D, you can also 4D, those instances as well. Just have to be worried that he can just run up in 2A and 2B out of both those options, or just run up and throw. That is a thing. Pretty sure Gauntlet Hades just, if you like run up Gauntlet Hades, not saying like a run up would do this, but to just like really just winging you to death, like that is going to hit you as well. So just have to be careful depending on the character that you're fighting against. But against those situations, what you can do, if you kind of preemptively hit him, you might run into a trade. But you would basically have to, like, just hit them way ahead of time to stop something like that. But if they're doing it at the right range, like, your best response is to just block it. can't also like someone OD it. So yeah. But I'm pretty sure they can probably guard that, depending on how fast you do that. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, can do that. Yeah, it is. The only time OD is expensive is when it's like early in the match. Like if it's gonna help you win the round, or it's gonna put you in a more advantageous situation to your, especially if they don't have like a reversal, then it sometimes is worth it. Like especially if they're like dedicating to something, especially if they already got you like blocking, then it's probably a good gamble. So yeah, it just depends though. You have to really pay good attention. So yeah, that's something you have to watch out though. You can't OD. I'm basically just listing out all your options. Basically against something like that. You can't OD. It's not the best thing ever to do unless it's like something you know is coming in and they have a lot of recovery behind it. Then that is something you can do. Or whatnot. Especially if they already have like a low life. Like they have like, let's see. Let's just say they had something like that. Let's just say they had 34. 34 health. See that? Like ODing at the right time can definitely help, especially if their life is low enough to justify it. It is a solid answer. You just have to be smart about it. That's all it really is, at the end of the day. But it definitely can help you. You just have to be very careful about when throwing it out, because if you throw it out too early or too late, it can screw you up. So you have to be, like I said, you have to be very smart about when to use it. So that requires you to know it inside and out and kind of have a solid idea of when to go ahead and kind of read your opponent's attacks ahead of time, especially if they're in neutral and you know like they have a tendency to just like throw out pokes a lot. You're just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna OD it. So yeah. All right, so let's see. Let's go over like characters that we know. Let's see. Let's go with Hawk. I'm pretty sure this is, what was this? 12? Oh, it's the land. Where is, I'm pretty sure that's Falcon 9. Where is Hawkman? Oh. Oh, it's back here. I think it's Hawkman right here. Alright. So, with Hawkman, I think you normally probably look out for is like 3C, probably 4C as well. 5C sometimes is used as anti-air. It just depends. 2C, his J2C, especially with jump in specifically, that's pretty iffy as well. Especially do like J2C like early, it's really difficult to anti-air that. 4C. When it comes to 4C, you can low profile. You can jump over it into JC. You can 3C it. You can 6D, but you can't block. You just have to be close enough to do it though. Just don't think about it. The closer you are, like I said the last time, the closer you are, the faster 16 comes out as a 26 frame move. If you further out, it goes out to like 39 frames. So trying to 6D here is actually a bad idea. I think it's just like hit you for free. See that? So yeah, that's something you have to look out for. Well, yeah, Noelle naturally can run under 4C. Sort of. See that? She can kind of run under it because her low hitbox. But the problem with that is, it's so specific that you can't really count on it. So I wouldn't recommend just like randomly dashing in, because if you're just like trying to dash in because you're just like, oh, he's gonna 4C, so I'm just gonna like run forward, you're running into two problems. You're basically giving them the ability to go 2B, 3C, even into this. Let's see. I'm not sure what its other move is, but it's the super dash. So yeah, there's a lot of things you have to worry about too when just dashing in. You have to be very careful. So you're better off just like dashing in to block to make sure that the 3C never happens and it catches you, because it catches you with that, like this. You can't do stuff with that or whatnot, depending on how it hits you. So yeah, gotta be careful. As far as like, let's see, like anti-airs. So dealing with anti-airs like that big, you can kind of double jump, but sometimes what you can do is do like a delayed JD. Sometimes that may help, depending on the move. But even then, it's not guaranteed. Even though it may involve, but like I said, the involve timing, it varies upon execution. So you have to be very careful, because you can still get anti-aired out of that. Sometimes the best thing to do against something like that is to just jump in and just block. Even good players do that too sometimes. They just jump in and sit there going to attack, but they just block instead. So you don't want to be in a situation where you feel afraid to just jump in and block. Like, it's okay to give up your offensive motive to bait anti-airs, because you get a feel for what they're gonna do, and if that's the best way for you to get in, then so be it. Sometimes it's okay to concede, as long as you have the rest of your fundamentals down. It's fine. It's not it may not be the most desirable for everyone, because there are players out there that like to be a glass canyon, but at the same time, if it's gonna get you in closer to your main objective, then why not? Just block. A lot of people don't like to block, myself included, but sometimes that's what you have to do. It's not like you really have a lot of options, to suggest you don't have to, especially in Noelle's case. She's not one of those characters who don't have to block in a lot of various situations, so that's just the way it is. So yeah. That goes for any character who has like large normals. Like I said, Noelle is one of those characters whose range works against her, so a lot of times you have to move in with a lot of blocking. A lot of shifting, movement, trying to get in. That's basically what you have to deal with. Yeah, that pretty much is the case. Like, a lot of times that's what you have to deal with. You have to basically submit to a lot of what your opponent is going to do as a follow-up to whatever they're already planning on doing anyways. that's just the way it is. You know, so in Noel's case, that's what you're basically dealing with. Let's see. Same thing pretty much goes for 9. 9 is pretty much the same thing. It's really no different, because all these characters have big normals, and they pretty much make you fall under the same roof. Even like somebody like Amane, it's the same thing. You know? Like in Amane's case, like 5C, I guess 5C is, you can kind of run under it with Noel, interestingly enough, but again, the same problem you run into, you have to be careful because he can still hit you with like a 2D. You can 2D over it. Yeah, I know. Like, you can do the 2D over that, and you can't go past his 5C with like 6D, but you can block, especially when you're further out. So you would have already had to move in a considerable amount to basically get in on him. By the way, I apologize for the stream like going out for a bit. Every time it does that, my controller's like basically messing up on me, and that's like reconnected. I know, I'm probably live. So, Amane is like one of those cases. 9 is the same situation essentially. Kagura also the same as well. Because of big normals, you basically had to fall in line with how much range they're controlling. There's not a lot you can do about it, to be completely honest with you. It really isn't. It's not really a good solid answer to dealing with that. It's really you just basically being defensive overall. So it's basically passive aggression. So if you don't know what passive aggressive approaches mean, that basically means like you're moving as if you're being aggressive, or moving towards your opponent, you know, in an aggressive manner, but being defensive about it overall, as opposed to being completely offensive, you know. So you can move in a lot as if you're going to be offensive, but you be defensive at the same time. You know, it's passive aggressive. So that's overall what your playstyle role is kind of like that to begin with, passive aggressive. She's not really like an offensive character like that. Not anymore, at least. Not in this case. So yeah, so that's something you have to deal with when it comes to like range characters. You just have to basically know the tendencies of your opponent and kind of try to move around it the old-fashioned way with fundamentals. There's really no other way around that, to be completely honest. Okay. Let's see. Went over 6D, 2D. Went over chase airborne targets. You want to stay grounded mostly. Dealing with giant normals, you kind of can see to it. You be passive aggressive. You inch your way in until you get close enough to kind of do stuff about what they're doing. The success to that is, even though they may outclass you in range, if you get in enough and you're able to to instant block what they're doing, no. So, as long as you're able to like instant block, whatever they're doing, and possibly respawn with it to a degree, then you're reaching your objective overall. So that's not what you want to do. Alright, so going back to the other stuff, we're going over Oki and Rapid Councils and trade. So we're gonna go over Oki first. Alright, so let's go to why not? Go riding. Alright, so Oki. Let's see here. So for the most part, I'm going to show you how the Oki works in the corner. This is very important. Alright, so let's take this off. Got blocks. Okay, got rolls. So, her corner Oki basically is reliant upon 5C. You can't use 2C, because it does have a faster recovery overall, but 5C overall is your is the main Oki tool in the corner. So let's say for example, we do a corner cut. Oops, suicide cut. Alright, so we got 5C, which catches the rolls. We go to back throws. Should catch. I think Braun is one of those characters that that doesn't catch on his back roll for some reason. Let me see. Oops. Yep, catches the back roll. I'm trying to use the cheat way. See, we'll set up the situation when I have to go into my combo. So yeah, the 5C catches the forward and back. I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, that's quick get up. So, quick get up punishes that as well, as you can see. And this is set on block as well, as you can see that. So if they had a chance to block, they would have blocked it on a quick get up. So it will punish the quick get up attempt. I'm pretty sure this is the no tech. No, that's random. This is the no tech. Yeah, that's no tech. So on no tech, it also punishes that as well. So as you can see, it'll reset if they don't tech it off. So 5C pretty much catches every tech option they potentially have outside of neutral tech. So with that being said, no. We're not talking about dealing with DPs. That's after a wake up. We're talking about wake up options in terms of them teching. Their tech options. The tech options. So tech options dealing with like forward roll, back roll, neutral tech, or quick get up. Those are your tech options. Noel's Oki doesn't deal with DP options. Her Oki is not particularly that strong. It doesn't deal with those. It just deals with their tech options. That's what Oki does. So if you need a further explanation of Oki, I can explain that quickly. Like for example, in my opinion, there's like two variations of Oki. There's like a level 1 Oki that basically deals with tech options, basically how your opponent is going to wake up, like after they've been on a knockdown state like this. You see what I'm saying? They can roll forward, they can roll backwards. Actually, let me take this next room so you can better see it. So yeah, they can roll backwards. They can quick get up, or they cannot take it on and allow the character to get up themselves. Those are like your tech options after a knockdown situation. They won't, because 5C will catch you in the corner. Even if they try to roll, if they try to roll past you in the corner, 5C is going to catch you every time. It doesn't matter if they roll forward or backwards in the corner. No, we're not talking about mid-screen, we're talking about in the corner. This is corner Oki. This is not mid-screen Oki. We're not dealing with mid-screen Oki. We're dealing with corner Oki first. Yeah. So yeah, so corner Oki. This is dealing with corner Oki. This is not mid-screen. Like I said, I'll deal with that in a bit, but we're explaining corner Oki. So this is how it basically works. So her 5C catches that. Same thing with 2C as well. But 5C it's a lot easier than dealing with 2C. 2C is a little iffy. it does the same exact things, but it's harder to capitalize on it to an extent. So that being said, let's say they want to roll Tech 4, right? That's pretty much the only thing they're pretty much going to do. They're not going to really rotate backwards. They might try to not tech at all, and they might try not to do a quick rise, but commonly, as far as I know, because all they know is that Noelle is landing relatively close to them, so it looks like they can roll Tech 4, in which case they can, technically, to an extent, but 5C is going to catch you. So what you want to do, you want to use 5C Oki to control tech options and go into your combo from there. So the variations you can do the full punish combo after the 5C catches the tech, which is harder because you have to react basically to the 5C hitting. The version I use is with the option select. So the option select is basically you input 5C, you input 236C right after 5C, which is going to do this, and then you input 2A, like afterwards, or whatnot. That's kind of like how the option select works. But overall, the core of it is basically 5C, 236C, whether it hits or not. Your options after that is completely up to you. So your follow-up is gonna basically what you want to do after 5C whiffs. So in the event that they do neutral tech, right? 5C into chamber shot doesn't come out. 5C was just simply whiff. So if that does happen, then like I said, your follow-up is basically entirely up to you. You can 2A, that's going to meaty them. So if they try to like mash out with like 2A on wake up or something like that, your 2A is going to beat it. Or whatnot. The only thing it doesn't beat is like reversals, like harness scissors, like DP or stuff of that sort of nature. Dealing with overdrive on wake up is something you have to worry about, because that can potentially catch you as well. So that's the only thing that the Oki does not cover. Her Oki is not that strong. So yeah, so her Oki is more like level 1, where level 1 Oki in my opinion is like dealing with characters' wake up options in terms of teching. Level 2 Oki deals with both teching options and then after option, the options after teching after, in the first place. So this is like dealing with after they've been on a knockdown state. And it also deals with options after they actually do tech and they're in this position, where they have the chance to DP, potentially backdash, overdrive, stuff of that sort of nature. You have Oki in the game that deals with that as well. But Noelle's Oki options don't deal with that specifically, because she doesn't have anything that can really set it up. There is one setup in the game where she can, to an extent, but it's not particularly easy to set up in this game, which is like dealing with Drive 6C. She has a variation of Oki like that, but it's not easy to set up. That's the thing. So, but she has to space herself out specifically to kind of set it up, where Drive 6C will kind of come out and bait it to an extent. That's what I think about it. So, in the event where basically, let's say they tech, the forward, right? Basically, your follow combo is gonna be something like this. If I can combo. Thanks, it's terrible. It's hard to do it, harder than actually. So yeah, it kind of looks like that though. I'm not trying to do the hard version. Let's see. We'll go to Jin. That's all I beating up on Jin. I hate this character. But yeah. Yeah, but if you are too close, like off of like Tutubi-Oki in the corner, which I don't actually like that much at all, you can potentially go past you. So yeah, but it is 4.2. So as you can see, that's how the Oki essentially works. So it puts them back in the same situation. If they try to roll, it's going to loop them back into the same situation. So it doesn't really matter if they roll tech forward or backwards or whatnot. This is why I actually don't like these setups, because it puts her in an awkward position, like using Tutubi-Oki and then trying to use Vice-Oki after that. Like, it's terrible. That's why I actually don't like it. So yeah, but like on any normal circumstance, like a regular combo, so yeah, you can go to the same combo. There. Same thing on quick get-ups. Jesus Christ. Just like the converter, it's like a slight delay. Yep, so there's that. And then we just have like no text. No tech is basically the same thing as it's really no different from like quick jabs. It's like the same situation. So yeah, so that's the option select version. We're using Vice and Chamber Shot to option select into the same thing. So in the event where you get the full punish version is a little different. Alright, so this controller back. Alright, now. So let's say we get the ooh. Terrible. I'm saying more of the opposite version. That's funny. Terrible. Ah, Lord. This is terrible. There you go. So you get 4.8 off the punish version. So that's basically what you're looking at with the full punish version of that, which is 4.8. That's really strong for punish on the roll tech, or just teching in general. Whether it's roll, delay tech, or quick get up. That's really strong. It's like basically damn near 5k. Your opponent probably won't feel like doing that again, because that's a lot of life to lose just for trying not to just neutral tech on the wall, or roll tech for that matter. It's really strong. So probably the first time they see that, they're probably like, well, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm just gonna like wake up and probably DP or something like that. So here's where we deal with like DPs and reversals on wake up. This is where it boils down to. Listed in the doc. The full punish, yes, it is listed in the doc, I believe. I have to check. If it's not there, I'll probably update it later on tonight. So, but yeah, it should be there. I'm pretty sure it is, but I have to check. if it's not there, I'll upload it onto the dock. I'll put it there myself later on tonight. No problem, no problem. I got you guys. I got you. Grandpa Lith is here. Old man Lith is here. Got you. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's the full punish version. 4.8. It's pretty strong. It should deter your opponent from like trying to do it again. But let's say we're dealing with like wake up options. So this is where you're gonna have to switch. We'll have to switch to. I could switch to Jin. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. I just switched to Rodman, just because. All right, so report Noel doing this. Alright, so we're gonna go for the option select version. So you kind of get an idea what's going on. Jesus Christ, I hate this. It feels like a slight delay when I'm trying to play on this converter. I don't have this problem when I'm playing PS3 though. Alright, let's try it. Okay, so this is the option select version. Okay, I do it too slow, that's what happened. Yeah, I did it too slow. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's supposed to work. I'll be able to tell. Yeah. Alright, you see that? So, if you try the option select version, you get a 2A meeting. So I just tried the 2A mash out, and I got hit. Alright, so you get 2A meeting, which is probably the most common follow-up that you're going to do, because it beats mash outs. And then of course if you roll tech, she's going to punish it. So I can't really do anything against the situation in terms of like alternative roll tech options, because she's going to punish it every time. So I can't roll tech forward, I can't roll tech backwards. I can try quick get up, and she's still going to get me from that too. Alright, so, and then if I don't tech at all, she's going to punish that too. See how that works? So the only thing I can do is neutral tech. But if I try to mash after neutral teching, she's going to punish me with the 2A as a meeting. So that goes for like pretty much any other button I have outside of reversing. So I have to block, basically. So that's how you basically control those options in terms of normal options that they can potentially do. Now what you can do after wake up, they can backdash. You kind of backdash, but it depends on like the character, because some backdashes are better than others. I don't think Ronda's backdash is that good though. You kind of backdash it. You have to time it though. You can backdash and try, but if you're like mashing 2A with Noel, then you're going to get caught eventually. So that's fine. So they can backdash. You can OD, but you can block though. You can block the OD response. Same thing with like EA. Even if you like OD and EA it, like basically what ends up happening is she's just gonna end up guarding the EA, or she can like stop the EA with like a drive move, like 40 or see that? she's gonna block it every time. But she can 4D or 6D the EA and go back to like D6D and D4D to bait out the EA back and forth. So if you're like thinking like, well, I'm just gonna OD and just EA or block it then EA, like she can still bait it or whatnot. She can bait it back and forth until you eventually commit to doing it, and then you're just gonna end up losing, you know, a burst just because you're trying to hit her out of whatever she was doing. That's probably like the only really good benefit out of doing like the whole bait stream, like 60-40, 60-40, stuff like that. Like, it's okay, somewhat, when it comes to OD, because they're trying to excel you. A lot of times you end up baiting it out by that, and they end up taking it, and then you end up just basically like hitting them out of it for free, and you get a combo, which is cool. It's cool, but at the same time, it's like you're still committing to drive at the end of the day. That's probably like one of the only decent things that come out of it in that situation. Alright. So, dealing with DPs, reversals of that sort of nature. So, let's look at that. So, as you can see, we cannot stop that. I'll show it again. So, against DPs of that sort of nature, they can't hit you out of that, right? So what do you do with those situations? Okay, I'll show you. It's the same thing you would normally do against any other DP situation with Noelle. You can still bait it with 4D. You can try 6D. I would recommend a 6D, but you can 6D or you can 4D on their wake up. The only thing that's different about this situation is you're sacrificing the 2A meaty for a bait for the DP. So at the end of the day, what this boils down to is that you're basically playing a guessing game on whether or not they're going to. So yeah. So for example, what you can do. See if I can record. Alright. That should work. Alright, so let's see if this works out. So yeah. You can. You can. I'm talking about like baiting the DP with like a her drive. You can just if I see Oki option select and then just block if you want to. The thing about that is, even if you sat there and block, let's just say for example, God. Alright. So if you block, if you're sitting there and like basically waiting for them to do something, that's the thing you have to deal with. Because you have to deal with them jumping out or doing a fuzzy jump out. They could potentially just jump out of the corner. And then depending on the kind of player they are, they can just air dash out like that. If you're just waiting for a DP. That's the thing that you have to deal with. So that's also contributing to the reason why I say it's a big guessing game at the end of the day. You either have to manually block in anticipation for reversal. You could try 4D to bait it if you want to. You can also go for 2A meaty if you think they're not going to DP or reversal to beat mash outs. You know what I'm saying? Or try to like block and wait for them to jump in anticipation and try to counter that. Technically they do. Because if they DP, as long as they're the ones who DP and they rapid cancel or whatnot, they can still go offensively. That's the thing about it. That's what's so good about rapid cancel and DP. They can still attack. They can still do stuff. Like Rodden's DP, it doesn't allow him to leave the ground until after the second hit. If you further out, the first second hit kind of comes out first. You don't want to get into a situation where you go and Rodden comes down with like a JC. You have to be careful. That's the thing too. So that is a thing. You can't do that. And the same thing goes for any other character who has a DP as well. So at the end of the day, it's really an even guess between you and your opponent. You just have to outguess them. That's all that is. So it's not like they have like the advantage, because you both have the same equal advantage after 5C Oki. They either going to reversal and you guess that they're going to reversal and you either 40 or bait it out. I would rather not sit here and block it. The reason why is because even though yes you have the benefit of blocking it, if they have the meter to rapid cancel that, then you're given a complete offensive momentum in that sense, because what ends up happening is you block the reversal, yeah they rapid cancel, but then they can still turn that situation to their favor and you end up blocking. That's not entirely always the case, because you can still turn that into a positive in some ramifications, but at the end of the day, I'd rather them not have the benefit to be able to rapid cancel it. So what you can do, you can't overdive on their wake up. So for example, so let's say for example, you get that. So what you can do, you can kind of overdrive through it. Let's see if I can set it perfect. Jeez, great on his execution. I'm pretty sure I messed that up somehow. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I messed up the timing of it. Okay. I think I might have it down. That's right. Yep, still messed up the timing. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's something you can do. And of course, if you option select it, it's going to catch the roll. And then if you're sure that they're going to go into a DP, then you can still go for the overdrive. If you're sure they're going to go for a reversal and you read it and you overdrive that, that's a good thing. Alright. So from here, you get into the same situation after 5 Oki, and they go reversal. You see that? Okay, so they completely whiffed. Even if they have meter, they can't stop this situation. So you're stuck in overdrive, they can't burst, and you have a free combo of your disposal at this point. So you have the benefit of being in overdrive. your big overdrive damage, especially just with 50 heat along with this, you can do like over 5 to 6k, especially because they're in counter hit state. Like, you do a massive amount of damage, right? You do a massive amount of damage from that. Let's see, let's go back to character select because I'm on my color palette.
Noel Vermilion.
Let's pick one.
Ragna the Blooded.
Let's go to class effect. Alright, so yeah, so you can punish this. Yeah, you do a lot of damage with that. And that's just with full health though. So if you had like lesser health, like it would have been a lot worse. Let's just say, hypothetically, you had like 70. Maybe even 60. Doesn't really matter. So ooh, that's terrible. Man, you can do a lot of health. I'm pretty sure you can hit the 6k mark, but I'm just basically demonstrating that you have the ability to do a lot of massive damage, potentially up to 6k, just because of that. So, it really, like I said, at the end of the day, the whole entire Oki thing is basically under the whole entire 50-50 game, where you both have to guess who's going to do what. Because, although they can DP on Wake Up, right? If you 4D that, that's a punish. If you bait it by backdashing, it's a punish. You know, if you OD it, that's definitely a big punish. And then on the same note, if they don't DP and they try to match 2A instead because they're thinking you're gonna like try to punish it with like a 4D. Let's say you try to 4D, right? If they think you're gonna 4D, they may say, well, okay, I think he's gonna try to 4D me to bait out my DP, so I'm gonna match 2A to try to beat the 4D. That is something they can do. So I'm gonna match like a low more, you know, like a low move to try to beat that. If they do that, and you try to do a 40 up close, yeah, it may beat you, but at the same time, they had to guess that that was going to happen, because again, you can still 2A meaty them, and if they tried that, and they guessed wrong, because they thought you was going to do a 40, if they get hit by 2A, that still punishes them for trying to mash out in the first place that they had technically no business doing. You technically have the advantage to an extent, because you have the ability to have them still in the corner, and potentially take a lot of damage for guessing wrong. Whereas you guessing wrong on what they're going to do on Wake Up is a lot less detrimental overall, outside of you being put back in the neutral. You see what I'm saying? So that's basically how Noel's Oki works. You have to guess whether or not they're going to reverse or whatnot. You know, if you guess right, you get to punish them for it. If you guess wrong, you lose your advantage being in a corner, and you just basically get back in the neutral mid-screen. That's basically the end result of guessing wrong what your opponent's going to do with Noel. So it's not that horrible. You rather them stay in the corner, but it's not like it's the end of the world at the same time too, unless like your opponent is not good enough to help you carry the rest of the round out. Then yeah, that may happen. So that's something you have to consider. So just remember, your 2A beats their 2A. Their 2A beats your 4D option if they guessed it. If you block, if you choose to block, and they bash 2A because they thought you were going to 4D or something like that, then yeah, you lose out on keeping them in check, because you could have potentially punished it with 2A, but at the same time they had to guess, so you can't do that. Also, another thing about that is, when it comes to Feisty Oki, if you already punished them 1 or 2 times for trying to do anything else besides a neutral tech, they're going to eventually come to understanding that this 5C is going to check all of their Oki options. So they're going to kind of expect it after a while of you doing it. So once you got that instilled into their mind, like, okay, I don't want to get hit by 5C because that's a huge starter. I can take potentially up to 4.8. That's a lot of damage. So I'm just going to neutral tech from here on out. Once you got that there, right, what you can do is mix it up. So sometimes you can kind of deviate away from the 5C Oki and kind of go for stuff like overheads, throws, that sort of nature, or even like instant air dash into like DLC shenanigans. So that's stuff you can do. You can also do Ultra Select version of the DLC, which will hit like 40 if they do like a reversal, and if they don't do a reversal, then they get hit by the D6B. So yeah, so that's something you can try, or not. It's just a matter of you mixing it up. So yeah. So yeah, so that's basically how her corner Oki works for the most part. So I'm going to talk about her mid-screen Oki. So her mid-screen Oki is a little bit different. It's a little different. So how she basically does mid-screen Oki, let me take us here. That's better. So if they neutral tech, you can get a safe jump. And of course you can do the original variation of it. Right? So the original variation basically deals with 2-2B. Now, if you noticed the original version, right? 2-2B was in this instance. Now, I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the Japanese version, right? Where 2-2B actually does hit them. That's actually not Oki. Although it does combo and it may seem like it's Oki, it's actually not, because Noah doesn't have the ability to take advantage of that situation. So I want you to pay attention to this position. So this position right here is actually detrimental to Noah, because she doesn't have a move that stops them from rotating backwards at all. Like, she can't do anything from here. So that's the thing about the whole entire misconception of the Japanese 2-2B Oki, because although it does combo, it doesn't really put Noel in any advantageous situation from this from this spot. But they just rotate all day, and there's nothing you can really do to stop it. For example, see, they can actually DP that. They can DP that. They can rotate forward. I mean, they can rotate forward, but it's a huge guess game from there. She doesn't have a move that basically hits them that far out. Like, even if you go like optic barrel, it's terrible. Like, look, like there's nothing she can really do about that situation, unfortunately. So that's why my variation of the 2-2B Oki mid-screen is a little different. So it actually depends on how your opponent reacts to it, because you kind of react to the Oki. So I'm going to explain how that works. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to put this on no tags, right? So let's say your opponent doesn't like the tag. You kind of wait, right? So you kind of get this. Let me see. Let me go back to aerial attack. I think this is it. Nope. Nope, it's still it. This might be it. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Alright, so this is how this works. So either they're going to tech, or they're not going to tech at all. Right. So this don't make me mess with it. Right, so they're either going to tech, or they're not going to tech at all. In case 2TB will just hit them. The reason why this is actually good is because based on how they tech in that situation, 2TB is going to serve two purposes. Alright? In the event where 2TB whiffs, right, and they neutral tech that situation, so what you can do, you have a lot of things you can do from here. Right? Let's go back to the one where they do tech. Execution is terrible. From here, you can do a lot of things. You can bait DPs, 4D, you can 60. I prefer to 4D if you're trying to bait reversal. 60 is kind of worse on that side. But you would rather 4D if you're going to like bait a reversal, like a DP or something like that. Right? What you can do, if they neutral tech, because they neutral tech, they've already dedicated to staying in front of you. So from here, you can bait DPs, you can 2A meaty, you can 6A meaty, whatever you want to do, right? You can even go for like a throw, or anything of that sort of nature, right? Go for overhead if you want to. It's not the quickest option ever, but you know, it's something you probably can try. You can also try that too. Like, even if they don't neutral tech and they stop there, I mean, if they neutral tech there and you don't even hit the 2-2-V, you can go for an overhead. It's a bit faster that way, because you have to go through the fact that you're trying to go 2-2-V and then trying to go an overhead. You go through more frames that way. So if you're trying to attempt an overhead, what you might do is skip the 2-2-V the 2-2-V part of it and just go straight for an overhead. That might work. But in any other case, you hit the 2-2-V, and you can go like 2A, meaty, stuff like that, or 40 to bait the reversal, or even a throw if you want to, or possibly TRM. So those are like options you can do from there, right? Okay, so let's say they don't tech. Let's say they don't tech. Okay, and you get to be like that. What you can do is you can basically follow up with the same situation similarly in the corner, like how it is in the corner. You basically go 665C and react to the 665B, 5C basically hitting them, right? So let's say they roll tech backwards, right? Let's just say. So what you would have to do, let's see, pick you. Yep. Okay, so that's what we're That's weird. I think that may be delay tech. Is that delay? Might be. No, it's backwards. Maybe no tech. Oh yeah. There you go. So if they roll tech backwards and they don't tech on the 2-2-V, you can catch the roll tech. So you can catch that. Got him, terrible execution. So you can't catch the roll tech. Just gotta be on your execution. Like how I'm not. And of course, you can still go into your corner Oki from there as well. So yeah, you can catch the roll tech though. You can catch the roll tech on that version of the So yeah, always remember that 5C is pretty much your go-to move to catch like rolls and all that stuff. It's pretty much your primary Oki tool. 5C, very, very, very important. It's a very strong start at that. Very strong. So yeah, so that's how you would handle back rolls in that instance. The same thing will also happen if you're dealing with no text, like I showed you earlier. So let's see. Go to no text. Right. So let's say I don't press it. So turn. I think if your combo's longer, the combo timer is like yeah, your combo timer is actually manipulated by how short the combo is. So yeah, the 5C will catch the non-tech option as well. That's probably the only thing I don't like about the not online, but training mode option. Their untech timer is actually longer the shorter the combo was, surprisingly. But yeah, so it does catch the non-tech option if they roll tech backwards as well. So if they roll tech forward, this is a plot. This is why like mid-screen Oki is not really all that great to an extent. So let's say they roll tech forward. This is where you run into a plot. You see that? They can roll tech forward and the 5C doesn't catch it. The reason why this is the case is because the low is still too close. Right? Because when she goes into her 2-2-B Oki, she's way too close to her opponent. Now what she can do is stay place. She can stay in the same exact spot and hit the 5C and it will catch it. Right? So for example, yeah, 5C will catch it if you just stood in place there. But then you run into another problem dealing with that. Right? Now let's say they move backwards. You see that? 5C doesn't catch the back roll if you stay there and try to catch the forward roll. So now you're in this dilemma where you have to guess if they're going to rotate forward and backwards. So hitting 5C in place after a 2-2-B will catch the forward roll, but it'll miss the back roll. And then vice versa. If they hit the back roll and you sit in place pressing the 5C to catch what you thought was going to be a forward roll, you end up missing. So it becomes a guessing game at that point with your own Oki. Yeah, I know, like, no, it's terrible. But yeah, so that's essentially what you end up dealing with when it comes to that form of Oki. The same thing actually happens with her safe jump setup as well. The same thing actually is the same setup gives you like the same her safe jump range. Although if you stay in place, it whips. But like if you add a slight dash before it, right? Yeah, it's like dash before that. Before that, you can't catch the back roll, which you can see. It's really hard to set it. It's so the execution that's very awesome. You kinda have to like dash. Jesus Christ, this is over. What I'm actually trying to do is dash and do a jump like that. But the timing for it is so specific. There you go. So you can catch the roll tech that way if they roll backwards. But the thing about that is, if the roll tech forward and you did the dash before the JC like that, they roll tech past almost, so she ends up whipping the JC. The only way that you can catch that is if you stood in place without the dash before the jump. And they roll tech forward into it. That's like the only way how you can catch that. I think actually jump backwards slightly, actually. But yep, that is how you basically deal with that situation. Give me just a few minutes though. Let me take a quick break, gotta answer this phone call. I'll be right back.
あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。破壊します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなた たを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。あなたを捕獲します。
Alright, I'm back. Can anybody hear me? Let me know. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Okay. Alright, so I'm back real quick. Sorry about that. Had to do a phone call real quick. My woman was calling on her lunch break from work. Yeah, she had to do work today. Grandpa Lith had to stay home. All that kind of jazz. But anyways, so yeah, back to what I was saying. So, yeah, dealing with her mid-screen Oki. That's pretty much the extent of it. It's not the greatest Oki all, but it is something you can try. I personally don't use it because there's a lot of guessing game behind it, and I personally just rather not deal with it or whatnot, because anything can kind of happen. What I prefer to do is just go ahead and just go into like a bloom trigger ender. Because it's going to set me up in a situation where I can basically try to safe jump. God, that was terrible. I don't know why I did that. So yeah, I'd rather go into that. Although it gives you the same exact situation, if they roll tick forward, they can roll past the JC in the bloom trigger ender mid-screen. Usually they like to roll tick backwards, which gives them the same, it gives them the same option really, unfortunately. Let's see. So yeah, it doesn't matter if they rotate forward or backwards, you get into the same situation. If they do neutral attack though, off a Bloom Trigger, you do get a safe jump, however. So that is something you can take into consideration. So you can get a safe jump. You know, that right there was a proper safe jump. Yeah, so that's a proper safe jump. So yeah, you can get a safe jump in the instance in which they do that. So it's pretty much one of your, you know, pick and choose what your poison is going to be at the end of the day. I prefer to do the Bloom Trigger because of corner push reasons. If it's going to put my opponent closer to the corner, why not? Sometimes even after a Bloom Trigger, what you can do is just go straight ahead and like run forward and kind of help provoke them to roll attack backwards, because if that's going to get them to roll faster into the corner for you, then cool, you know. If it makes my objective easier, why not? Or at least that's the logic behind it. So yeah. So anyways, that's mostly your entire Oki with a well. I'm pretty sure there's a way I can demonstrate how to set up the whole Tri-6C Oki idea in the corner. Actually, let me see. Let me see if I can. That's pretty much how you would normally set it up. Is there anything else need to? No, not really. All it does is set up to be open the same in the corner. Like if you're talking about like assault through doesn't lead into anything mid-screen. In the corner, all it really does is just provide you a way to go into 2-2B Oki. That's all it really does. I get into that. But I don't like going to 2-2B Oki, and it's the weakest form of Oki overall, because you don't really have good control over what they do after 2-2B Oki. Like, there's a variation where you can go into like a slight version of it, and go into like the old version of 2-2B Oki from CP. Like that. You can go into like old 2-2B Oki where you use 5D to catch the roll tech options, and it may catch some non-techs or quick get-ups. It'll catch the quick get-ups, but like non-techs, like it won't work on every character because 5D doesn't hit OTG on some characters, unfortunately. But the 5D will catch like most options on tech, if not all of them. And then from there, you basically go Tri-6A, which will meaty them, just like how the 5C Oki is in the corner, like how you use 2A. The Tri-6A will meaty them. If they try to jump, it's going to catch them. If they try to mash, it's going to catch them as well. The only thing you have to worry about is them DPing. And then from there, you either go into D6D for a low, or you go into like a D6 for a high. So that's kind of like how that works. So it kind of goes like this. I can push it. So you'll get a combo if the 5D hits and it catches the roll. So let's say a neutral tech, and they block. So let's say that. That's right. So you get an overhead opportunity if they block. Have a brain fart. That was terrible. Alright. You can do it hit your cross up if you want to. But what you want to do is make sure your bullets are the same. So the appropriate amount of bullets you want to do is actually 8. That's the thing about T2B Oki. It's actually very specific when it comes to the Oki setup. So you get an overhead if you do it correctly from a safe distance. And then you get a low if you did it the right amount of bullets. So the 2-to-B basically allows you to space yourself to set up the mix-up. So as long as you did like the right amount of bullets, like it should be like 7 to 8 bullets. Can't exactly remember off the top of my head right now, but that's how many bullets you technically kind of want. You want like, pretty sure it's like, yeah, it's like 7 bullets. And once you go like 5D, you want to go dry 6A, although that will leave you open for a DP opportunity for the opponent. You kind of want to do that because it's going to meaty them. And the thing about dry 6A is that it's technically supposed to be +3 on block, minus the recovery frames of drive, right? So it kind of it's still sort of plus, even though the frame data says it's still that it's negative without it, outside of it being out in overdrive, because it's essentially the same move, it's just without the recovery frames. So it's still technically +3, if I remember correctly. It's either +2 or +3. I can't exactly remember off the head, but it's +2 or +3. So you have the frame advantage even on normal drive on block from a drive 6A situation. So even if they tried to jump, the D6B follow-up is going to catch them. The D60 option is still going to catch them as well. If they try to jump that, it's going to catch them as well on Judge Startup. So they either have to guess high or high or low. So that's like one of the only benefits about it. But the control on their wake up option is a lot weaker. So yeah, but your net gain off that is a bit better than like other forms of Oki that you had past. Okay, that's random. Okay, that's the one. Jesus Christ. Execution on here is terrible. But yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. Alright. Yeah. So your punish is like 3.7, if I remember correctly. God, I hate when that happens. Really much just take a try out the game. That's what happens when I play Blaze. Alright. Oh, 3.8. So yeah, so on D60 you get 3.8. On the overhead it's not really much. It's pretty much like it's like a relatively high 2K combo. like 3K flat for the most part. So that's like the best you get. You get 3K flat at best on the overhead. The D6D, this move right here, D6D is like 2.8. So yeah, that's pretty much what you're looking at for that. Okay, so that's pretty much what it does, the Tsubi Oki, but the variation that the Japanese use, it's not the greatest. I actually disagree with how they use it. Like you can super jump, into well, not super jump, but like instant air dash into like a safe jump. You can do that. But if they roll tech forward, that's like a problem. That's the only thing about it. And then they technically, I think they still anti-air you actually. Let me see. Let me switch this person to Alright, so that's a safe jump. So I'm thinking they can quick ride into like an anti-air. They actually can. That's terrible. Do you see how bad that is? That's bad. Like they can just quick rise into an overhead and you still get popped in the face. Like, so that's a problem. They can jump out from quick rise. Might even be able to dash out of there. See that? They can actually dash out. They can kind of dash out. They can dash out, anti-air you into the corner. That's funny. This is just an LL. I'm just using the LL as an example to help demonstrate this. Like, I'm pretty sure other characters can do this a lot better than her. Look at that. You can just 5A her too. That's how bad that is. A simple 5A. Or quick rise into 5A and you get... Wow. It's bad. It's really, really bad. This is dealing with quick rise. This is not even dealing with like roll-techs. See that? Just get out for free. So this is why I actually don't like it, because like some Japanese players, they do that. They kind of like Shino does this too. He sometimes does this as well. He'll go into the option, and he'll go into that. He'll go into JC 2C. They kind of go for this, or to go for this, for like the mix-up. He sometimes will go into that. The problem I don't like about it is because it's free to roll tech it. Of course you can condition your opponent into that situation, but at the same time it still leaves the problem there. And that's what I don't like about it. So that's why I don't like the option. It's just it leaves a lot of problems. It really does. So that's pretty much why I don't use it. I don't use it for that reason. For those both those reasons in general. I prefer the 5C Oki over that. It's terrible. Man, I gotta get my stuff together. Even though I don't even play that, I can't even play that option. But anyways, so yeah, it leaves those problems open. That's why I don't use it. I prefer the 5C option, or even just like the 2C Oki in the corner. Even like the old variation of CP 2B Oki in the corner, like the one that involves like 5D follow-ups into your drive, even those options are still finicky in its own way. and that's why I don't use them. So I pretty much go straight to 5C because it handles all of those for you. The only thing you have to worry about is like reversals on wake up, which is like the least amount that you have to worry about. You don't want to have to worry about DP, reversals, and wake up options at the same time, because at that point, what's the point of doing the setup? It defeats the whole purpose of you even putting them in the corner overall. You might as well have just stuck to being mid-screen. It's kind of like a waste of time in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, like everyone has their own options. Everyone has their own purposes and stuff like that. Even Japanese players don't use the best options all the time. That is a thing. I want you guys to actually understand that. Not every Japanese player uses the best thing with their character. Shino definitely is one of those kind of guys that don't use the best everything. That, you know, whatever he does have great fundamental skills. You know what I'm saying? You can't take that away from him. But at the same time, he don't use the best options all the time. Because he surely don't really use Vasioki. He might use it sometimes, but he doesn't use it all the time. Like I probably should, because it does cover all the rest of those options. He may have his preferences. Sometimes he may like to switch it up and do something else entirely different, you know. So just because you don't see like certain Japanese players that a lot of people look up to that uses different options, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not the best. You know, that it's the best. That's definitely not the case all the time. So definitely keep your options out there. But there's Tutubi Oki in the corner, for those who were wondering. I pretty much explained the whole myth of the whole Tutubi Oki in, you know, mid-screen when it comes to the Japanese version. You know, this whole version of like that or whatnot. I explained that. Okay, so that's Oki. Alright, so dealing with mostly dealing with the give me 1 second, guys. Let me respond to this real quick. Yep, my woman is feeling a little sick. Gotta send her a good message. Give me 1 second, I was almost done. Alright. Alright, I'm back. So, gimmicks and rapid cancels. Alright, so Noah has a few gimmicks that she can use. It's iffy. The most prevalent ones are her drive cancellations, which I will get into. Give me 1 second, let's pick somebody. Beat up on Jin some more. Fuck this character. So yeah, so for example, you use DLC. God, I'm terrible. There we go. So I like to use my DLCs for JB because it's a bit easier, in my opinion. You can reverse scaling into it, but it may make it a little different. Let's see. Let's see if I can. It's actually harder if they're crouching. Normally they stand when they're guarding. There you go. So, you can reverse Gatling into it all the way down. But you gotta be careful doing that too early, because if you do it too early, your JD is gonna come out. Yeah, so you have DLC, which is short for drive landing cancellation. I know, that's fun. DLC, drive landing cancellation. A lot of people usually, when they hear DLC, they think about download content. But nah, but we actually use that for short for drive landing cancellation. So when I say DLC, think drive landing cancellation, which is this. That's what we mean by that. Also, drive landing cancellation allows you to do stuff like that. You go into like spring raid upon landing, which is kind of like a pseudo DP in a sense. You can do the same thing with boom trigger, same thing with assault through. So yeah, drive landing cancellation is very important, guys. It allows you to do a lot of stuff you normally probably couldn't do, like go into like stuff like that. So yeah, very important stuff. DLC is one of the world's strongest options in the game. The only thing about it is she has to be in the air to use it. That's the only thing. That's the only catch about it. So yeah, so DLC is one of her strongest options that she has as a gimmick. You normally set it up by going into like air dashes or jumping into something that allows it to happen. The Roar Blast is also a decent setup for it. Let's turn this to block. So yeah, so you definitely can like do something like this. It's turbling actually. Oh my goodness. There you go. Damn, Lith. Old ass nigga. But anyways, yeah, so that's something you can do. Is go into that. You can't use Rubber Blast to set it up. I'm so terrible today. I'm definitely gotta start playing this game again. I might get less than like not even like 10-20 minutes a night to play nowadays with my new job schedule. I am so rusty. Give me a sec, guys. Gotta get that controller back in there. Alright. So, Roar Blast can help set this up too, if you want to. That is a decent setup. So yeah. And then, of course, you can go into like the high-low then. Other things with Rapid Cancel, like for example, let's switch it into block. Sometimes what you can do is like a really long train. Like, that's another way how you can do that. You know, do something with Rapid Cancel. You can do a long train into 3C, which may catch a fuzzy jump or a jump out attempt. The 3C being Rapid Cancel allows you to follow, which is pretty good. I usually go into 5B, 5C afterwards, because it's going to OTG them off the ground, and if it doesn't, you know, even if they do block this, they may think, okay, it's their turn to press a button, so 5B, 5C can potentially hit them out of them trying to punish the 3C. So that is a common setup with that. Another thing you really can do, this actually deals with fuzzies. So, okay, so I got the computer to block everything. So what you can do is kind of activate your fuzzy guard. This is actually, you have to know the game really deep to understand this concept actually. So what you do is you go to any string you want that's going to allow you to go into like 6B. So what you're really doing, you're doing 6B, right? Let's say they block the 6B and you rapid cancel, right? Even if, right, so you see that? You see how Noel can still hit like a JC even after they block low? Even if you manually do this yourself, right? Right. Let's see. Alright, you see that? So, even if you manually shift guard as fast as you can, your fuzzy guard is going to still appear. So even though you block low immediately after you block a high, the wall can still create a fuzzy guard situation off the 6 beat overhead, which will create this. Unfortunately, JC does not hit, because if it did, then you actually could do something with that. Maybe. You probably could do something with that, but unfortunately you don't. So what you would do, instead of not being able to use a fuzzy guard setup from that, it still is a fuzzy guard setup, but it doesn't have the typical properties of it where your JC would count as an overhead, so therefore you would get an actual hit confirmed from that. But since we don't have that, probably could have did something like this. Probably could have get into JC and come back down to another JC or a J2C and then go into something. You probably could do something like that, but we don't have that, so you have to get a little creative. So what you do from here, you could do a similar setup. You can go into this string, where you would go into like a DLC. See that? So what this does, it allows you to somewhat reset pressure, in a sense. What this does, it allows you to set up DLC to an extent. So what you would do is, you would go rising. Let me explain what I'm setting. So you will rise JC. You will let only the first hit of JC hit, and you will go JC JA. So JA is gonna whiff. See that? So you would JC JA whiff and go into another JC. So that's how that works. So like in string mode, it looks like that. That's how that works. So yeah, so if you use the string right, you can actually get yourself into a DLC setup for the price of 50 heat. As long as you had a 6B that was blocked. That's the only thing about it. If they block that 6B, you got the setup, but if they don't block it, then you end up rapid canceling this, and then you're jumping in the air with a JC for no reason. That's the only thing about it. So it's a very conditional situation. If you know your opponent can block 6B very easily, then you got yourself a setup. So you kind of expect like higher level players to block 6B in general. If they don't block it, kudos. You know, saying kudos to you for getting it off, because this is 26 frames and it's very slow. It's one of the slowest overheads in the game. But at the same time, if they're blocking, you got 50 meter, you may have the potential setup from it. So she's terrible. You can go into like DLC on the way down on the second JC. Another thing you can do is use this to your ability. Block, so you can bait. So you can bait if you want to. You can air dash. Another jump again if you want to. Stuff like that. They can potentially press the button to anti-air you, and which in that case you can now use JD as a response to that on the anti-airs. Just be aware that if they do block JD instead of going for anti-air, then you're pretty much fucked. You're gonna get hit because you're still stuck in recovery frames from landing from JD. So that is a thing. So that is a gimmick that you can use. Another gimmick is using J2C in the middle of pressure from a jump cancelable normal. So for example, you can use this off JA, I mean not JA, but 5A and 5B. Technically uses off the second hit of J, I mean not J, but 6C, but because it doesn't hit the second hit of 6C, but because it doesn't hit crouching, it's not really a thing, so it's pretty much stuck to 5A and 5B for the most part. So that's what you're dealing with that being the case. So what you kind of can do, you kind of come back in like that, or whatnot, or you can use it to go back out in neutral. You can just do that if you want to, or you can just do that as well. You can also do that too if you want to. Although it is kind of difficult to do, but it is an option. So that is something else you can also use. There is a rapid cancel mix-up with 2D. So you can go 2D and 2B low, or an immediate low. You can go into that. You can also go into first hit of 2D, into a JB, into an overhead. Although it is difficult to do because the timing is very hard. So what you can do off that, let's see if I can get them to block low and then take the hit. Let's see, mid screen. Jesus, so yeah, you get about 2.9 mid screen, and then in the corner it's a bit different. So what you would do, you would do a different combo instead. There's a stronger version, I believe. So what you would do is combo drops right here actually. Yeah, it does. So let's see. Pretty sure there's a way I can do that. Does it still hit the let's see. Guys. Kind of forgot. Yeah, get 3.6 in the corner. That's actually the strongest version right there. So yeah, so that's what you can get off of that in the corner. It's a lot stronger. Actually trying to put this into practice. It is hard to get that time on that rapid cancel. So yeah, you get about 3.6 off of that. So that's what we're working with on that one. Mid screen is a little less, but you know, you gotta take what you can get. When it comes to drive, like say you're doing like drive mix up, right? If they block high, which probably most of the time they are, they're gonna block high most of the time. So you kind of have to like mix up with the lows. So often they usually go into like highs. Most nulls do. That's kind of like how they're supposed to defend against drive. They kind of react to the low happening. So that's normally how you kind of rapid cancel into what you perceive into a high. You kind of want to rapid cancel in areas where normally you would go for a high. You kind of go into that too. Not necessarily saying it's the best thing ever, but it is something you can do. You can also go for like muzzle flitter, although that is a huge risk involved with that, because if you give off the impression you're going to go for that all the time, then it may block high for it. And if you go to that, decent come off of that. So that's a gimme you can use for muzzle flitter. You kind of like substitute it for where you would normally throw out overhead and drive, sort of. You have to kind of condition them into it, but they can still block block load and dodge it. So just be aware that that is a thing. Alright, so that's pretty much like for the drive mix-ups. Pretty much. Oh yeah, here's another one. So you can go if you go like the first hit of boom trigger and they block that, right? Let's say they block that. It's like this. If you rapid cancel that, that's like plus. I want to say that's like plus 3, plus 2, plus 3. I think if I remember correctly, if I calculated back then, it was like plus 2. I think it's right here, because it's a long time before they can actually press a button before, after blocking this. That's a long time. So what you can try to do is go for like overhead there. This is actually weaker in since CP, because ever since they nerfed this to be 26 frames as opposed to 24 frames, since CP and all the way up to this game, it's a lot weaker because they can mash out. They kind of mash out of this setup. But back then in the older games, like Continuum Shift era, like this is actually a good setup because they can't mash out of this. If they try to mash out of that, they're gonna get hit by the overhead because there was 24 frames back then, so you had a 2-frame advantage over them back then, so it was a lot better. So they either just blocked it, or even if they tried to mash, they just got hit. So I think back then, I'm not sure if they could DP it back then. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a stronger setup. You can still kind of do the setup, but in this case you'll probably trade instead. But the trade won't really be in your favor, not necessarily, because I think like the recovery off of that is not good enough for Noel to take advantage of the situation, unfortunately. So that is something. I'm pretty sure you guys probably seen something similar to this in the corner. I'm pretty sure Sacred showed you guys this before, where you kind of go drive 60. You kind of go something similar to that. That's something you can use with drive 60. So yeah. Also, that's a solid setup too. Go ahead and drive 60 into that, because they can't mash out of it really, unless like they DP. Like them DPing is like the only response to that, or like overdrive. Like that's the only thing about drive 60. You don't really want to do this on block streams, because they can OD this. They can ODR this, like for free. So This is OD down. Yeah, they can do a pretty good amount of things, especially in Jin's case, or any other character for that matter. So you don't really want to do dry 6C and like pressure strings really, because they get ODR that, and they can pretty much fuck you up for that. So you don't really want to do it unless like they don't have any like they don't have a burst to do it in the first place. So as far as other gimmicks, we have the kind of like a cross-up version of Reborn Blast. You have to dash into it. Gosh, there you go. Execution. Garbage. Dang. So you have a version like that. Let's see. I'll try this side. I'm garbage. You can do stuff like that. Typical gimmicks. Going into JD cross-ups. Stuff like that. Or even like on normal he confirms. So yeah. JD cross-up is pretty common. Well, it doesn't really have like a lot of gimmicks. Oh, this is actually a really good one right here. So, Optic Barrel. This is probably the most commonly used when further out like this. So, let's say probably the most common situation is like this. Let's say that's like a something like that. Maybe. Yeah, that'd be cute. So, let's say you guys are like something like this, right? It might be a common situation you find yourself in where you get to this far out, and what happens is you're trying to find the best way to kill them, right? So what you might do, you might find yourself in a situation, if you go for an Optic Barrel, let's say they block it, right? They may block the first one, right? And then you're like, okay, well, if they block this, they can just dash in, so I gotta deal with neutral. One way you can kill them is by doing a double Optic Barrel by rapid cancel like the first one. Kind of like that. So, the reason why this would work sometimes, if not many times, for the the first few times you ever try that, is because a lot of times the opponent has the tendency to probably block the first one and then just move immediately in, because they're just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna block this out the barrel, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna like dash and do whatever I want, because I got the dominant neutral game. You can use this thought process that they have to your advantage to make them make a mistake into running into the second Optic Barrel. So they will block the first one and then they'll try to move in or air dash in afterwards, but that second Optic Barrel is going to catch him for doing so. So you just rapid cancel the first one and go into the second one immediately, which will catch them, and it can potentially win you a round. I've actually won rounds because of this alone. So it's actually a really useful tech. Same thing with this one too. This is really the same thing. You catch them off the same principle as well. No, it doesn't. It's too slow. Go back to this. Yeah, Optic Barrel, rapid cancel Optic Barrel does not combo. See, it doesn't come up at all. It's too slow. It takes too long for it to combo properly. There's like a setup in the corner where you can combo into an optic barrel. Let me see if I can remember. Let's see. I think that's the setup actually. It kind of goes like that. That's like one way you can come on top the barrel. It's good come on movie material if you want to take it, but it doesn't really set up any really good combos off that setup. So if anybody was ever curious about it, but yeah. But back to gimmicks and stuff like that. That's pretty much the extent of Noel's gimmicks for the most part. The only other gimmicks we have is like car throw and other little shenanigans like that. Like car throw, use 6B, and you cancel it into throw, and you get these. See this? I don't know if you can see that. So car throw allows you to extend out your 6B hitbox and then cancel it into a throw, or the throw input, which will increase the range of your throw. So yeah, it will increase your range. So if you, for example, if I can get them to block, nope, that's the wrong one. Yeah. Notice at this range, it's not gonna throw. If you see, that's a micro dash, because you can see that smoke. See that? See the smoke? This is me macro dashing into a throw. See that, people? That's me macro dashing into a throw. This is manually running into a throw input. You're gonna see that smoke, that puff of smoke under her feet, right? You can obviously see me like moving forward with the character. And even if you just do like a normal throw into like a step forward, you kind of see that she kind of like moves into the frame. However, a car throw moves a considerable amount of distance without creating that smoke, and it doesn't have the same animation as her running, you know, like normally walking forward into it. So that's just walking forward into a throw. So it's a lot different. It looks like she skips a little bit of a distance while she's doing the car throw version. You see that? Huge difference. Huge difference, and it does increase the range of the throw. So that is another gimmick that she normally use. See that? You use a normal throw like that, but it's a little bit slower, and it does give the opponent a little bit more time to actually recognize it. And then of course if you do a normal micro dash throw, you actually don't run into the range long enough for it. Sometimes it may actually whiff on you. See that? So yeah. You can also micro dash into the car throw, which will increase the range a lot more. So that's also a really good thing too. This is actually part of her pressure. So you can actually do pressure strings at ranges that normally a run-up throw would just whiff like that. See? See how that works? Same thing. 5A, 5B, 2B, and you do a normal micro dash throw at that range, it whiffs. If you do the same thing but with a car throw instead, it's going to catch you. If I can do it right. There you go. So that's the carved throw version at that same range. That's car throw. That's a micro dash car throw. And in the chat and also on Discord and also in the doc is also going to abbreviate it as KT as car throw for short, or it's going to call it MKT, which is micro dash car throw, which is this version. So that's what that basically is abbreviated for in the doc. So that is something I want to go over real quick as part of like her gimmicks. It helps out with the pressure a lot. It actually does. Like you can actually like car through off of like 5A, 5C and still get off pretty good setup off that. Although it is hard to do consistently. So yeah. So that's car through for me in a nutshell. Outside of that, Noelle doesn't really have a lot of gimmicks. She has like a couple of option selects in the game, but they're more related to like safe jumps and DLC shenanigans, whatnot. So she does have a DLC version where it's option select, where if they block the JC, you get this, and if they try to do a reversal, she'll instead go into a 4D on respawns or whatnot. I'm not going to necessarily set it up because I already have a video of it on my channel, so if you want to see an example of that, you can check it out there. Some of you guys probably already have or whatnot. If you guys are in Discord, I can just link you the video to show what it looks like. But anyways, so I covered Oki. I covered, let's see, covered Oki, and we also covered rapid cancels, gimmick stuff to use occasionally. I've already showed you guys in the last stream the whole thing with J2C, using that to bait anti-airs and knowing your jump and cancel options off of that as well. So there's that. Also, let's see. Actually trying to see what this option was that I found before. Dang, I forgot all about it. There's a way how you can use like a Kara. It's a car cancel you can do with a throw that's going to halt your position with the slide. It's not necessarily like a gimmick with Noelle specifically, because any character can do it. But there's a way how you can like stop the running momentum from your dash. Right? You see how you slide into the barrier guard? You kind of slide forward a considerable distance. There's a way you can go into an immediate stop while barrier guarding. No, there's no muzzle flitter gimmicks really. It's really just you mixing up Drive 6B. I mean, yeah, Drive 6B on block with muzzle flitter instead. Because if you feel like they're gonna block a dry 6B impulsively, like well, okay, they're gonna go for a dry 6B overhead, so I'm just gonna block high. Instead, what you can try occasionally is just replace the dry 6B with muzzle flitter instead, because if they was going to block high for this, then you might as well try this instead, which is going to catch them from blocking high in the first place. You know, that's really like the only gimmick about that. There's really no gimmick for this at all. You either commit to it or you don't, unfortunately. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions or concerns or any other thing you want me to go over or whatnot, you can go ahead and ask me at the moment. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot as far as like gimmicks that I do have. I mean, she can do something like spring raid into you have to delay the spring raid. Like, it's very similar to how Rana may do like a DD rapid cancel into like JC. So for example, he'll just do like this. Something like that. He'll kind of like continue pressure from there. The wall can do the same thing, but she'll, instead of her going in for the overhead, because she don't really have a good overhead with JC, she doesn't have overhead with this at all. She'll just go into DLC. So she'll just go into spring raid. So for example, I can get it. She'll kind of go like that. So that's something you can try. It is difficult to do, but it is an option. But why would you want to go into spring raid? Like, the only reason why you would get that off is if like you did something like JD and it either whiffed or they blocked it and they didn't punish it the right way, and you try to go spring raid at the last minute. But let's say they blocked that and they're like, okay, spring raid free punish. What you can do is rapid cancel the spring raid and go into that and get it going. So yeah, that is something you can try. Yeah. CS1, she had something where she could catch the standing frame of neutral text with it. You have to hold it down back. Nah. Well, didn't have anything like that in CS1. That was like the game I essentially started from. I mean, I played CT, but I caught the last part of it, like the last 2 months of it before I went into CS1, where I really actually started, you know, play through entirely. Even then, like, she didn't have anything where she could catch the standing frame of neutral text. No, she didn't really have anything like that. I mean, she had 5D, but 5D was fully invincible at the time. This move right here, this used to be full body invincibility. They took that away from her back in, I want to say CP. CP was the first game they took all the invincibility of this away. I want to say 5D still had invincibility in CP, in Continuous Strip Extend, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember if it still had it or they nerfed it to the point it was really hard to use it or to justify it for that matter. So yeah, but I mean, that was probably like the only thing that she could do as a move, but it was so OP to a lot of people at the time, they just nerfed it to hell. So she no longer has this as an actual invincible move. This was busted back then. I'm not even gonna lie. It was invincible to overheads, low. Yeah, it was full body. Yeah, it was full body, and it was fully invincible. It was virtually like a DP. The only thing that could beat 5D back then in CS1 was like a throw. You had to throw her out of it. You couldn't 2A her, you couldn't 2B, you couldn't overhead her. You couldn't really throw like a projectile of some sort at it. She just invuln through all of that. The only way you could like beat her out of it is like you just throw it. But yeah, 5D used to go through all of that. It was really good. It was a really good move. It was like the only. It was like her best move out of the entire game. It was the only thing that was good about her besides her being bottom tier with Tager and Rachel back in CS1. That was the only thing that was really good about Noelle besides like her really high damage back then. Outside of that, she was a terrible character. That's the worst Noelle iteration ever outside of like the more recent Noelle that we've been getting as of late. So, but yeah. Outside of that, I can't think of anything else that she could have thrown out that catches people as a meeting. That seems to be what you're saying. Like they caught somebody as a meeting. You didn't really have anything like that. But yeah. So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll be waiting. If you guys are on Discord, let me know as well. If you yeah, Akusen, I mean, if you're in the stream, yeah, car cancel barrier break is something I found in the game recently. I would say like a year ago, like a year and a half ago, where you would I'm trying to see. Oh, I think I found it, actually. Yeah, I just found it. Okay, so my standing frame comment was in regards to muzzle flitter. My stream was super delayed until okay, gotcha. It might have been a move that. Nah, that seemed to be like fuzzy guard. That seems to be what it probably was. Somebody tried to block. They probably got hit by a move that caused their fuzzy guard to stand, because also muzzle flitter came out a little faster back then. It was faster than how it is now. This is 26 frames. Muzzle flitter right now is 26 frames. I think it was a lot faster in the older games because she was able to like drive combo into it a lot easier back then. It was very easy. But they slowed it down recently. I don't know which game they started it on, but I'm pretty sure it was in CP era. They had slowed down its speed, which is why it's so slow right now. It was still a very risky move then, but it was a lot faster though back then. So I'm pretty sure because it was faster then, and you probably hit a move that that which prompted their proximity guard, not a proximity guard, but prompted their fuzzy guard hitbox on standing, even though they blocked low and they got hit by it anyways. That's probably what happened, most likely. Yeah, but anyways, Aquatan, like I was saying, because you made a comment about the car brake. The car barrier break. So how that works, I was messing around in training mode and I discovered it. So that's it. So if you see, like I said, if you dash in with the momentum of that, right? You see that? It's kind of hard to do. See that slide? That's like a normal dash barrier break. And then you have this version, which stops the momentum entirely. See that? where normally if you did it from this distance, you will slide essentially right in front of Rodman. But the car brake, the car barrier brake version, it stops you like right where you are. It stops you right where. See that? That's regular car brake. Car brake. Regular version. Car brake. So the benefit of using this is like it's not really like a huge benefit, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. The only benefit I can see out of that is you being able to halt your position precisely where you want to be at and cause like an attack to whiff because of your location. So like, for example, if your opponent did something like, let's just say hypothetically they go like 5C with Rodman, right? You can kind of stop your position and potentially like whiff punish them. In theory. So you can potentially like whiff punish him. So yeah, we're gonna put that to the test. Yep. So yeah, so in theory, you can use this in ground neutral to, in theory you can use the car brake to halt your position very precisely to cause a normal to whiff, in theory, and then potentially with punish that same normal that has a lot of recovery frames involved. So although on paper it does sound good, in practice it's very difficult to get this to happen. That's the only thing about it. So in hindsight, after like playing the game for a while, it's really hard to get this situation to occur. I've never actually used it in a match before, but in theory you could potentially get something like that to happen. The input for it is basically throw barrier. It's very similar to that. So what I do is, because I have my macro button, so I use my R1 because I'm playing on pad. I play pad, so for me, my R1 is throw. So what I do is I press the throw button, and then after the throw button, as I'm pressing the throw button, I press back in A, and I hold that. I hold the throw. Yeah, sure. Let's see. See if we can display input history. Nope. That's not it. I think it's in here. Where it is. There you go. So you're pressing B and C at the same time, and then you hold that input while pressing back A. Like that. It's a universal card. Every character can do it. So this is actually breaking the system mechanics. This is using system mechanics. This is not specifically for a character. This is system mechanics doing this. So any character can use it. So yeah. that is how that works. Down, south. That's in the middle. This is pretty much like straight. Oh, there it is. Yeah, straight. So, I don't know if you guys can see that. Press back a couple of times. You kind of see that input right there. So yeah. But yeah, it is a universal Kara concept that any character can use. But like I said, it's one of those things that on paper it sounds good, but in application it's hard to find an actual use for it because matches go so fast, and there's a lot of times where there's a lot of things going on to the point where using it in practice, you know, in actual matches, it may be very difficult to find an actual good time for it. That's all about it. So yeah. But that's like the only other thing that I found on the game that's like, you know, to that level. Besides like option selects and stuff of that sort of nature. Proximity guard is a little different. It's something similar along like the deep void of information about the game and its system mechanics, but even then, Noelle doesn't really have a good way to abuse that kind of information because her tools suck. Unfortunately, that's just how that. This is how that works. Unfortunately, for Noelle, she doesn't have a really good way to take care of that. So, there is something I do want to check though. And it's her ability to, let's see, let me go to Rod. So, something I want to check real quick. So, Rana's 2A is 7 frames, right? And its recovery frames is 10 frames. So, what I'm trying to see is, because Rana has the ability to bait his own DP. Like, believe it or not, Rana's DP is slow enough to be option select on a 2A, if I remember correctly. Is it? Or is it like Jin's? You can try Izayue. I think Izayue. I don't even remember Izayue's name on here. God, I hate this character. Sometimes I wonder why. Yeah, it's baitable for sure, but his DP gets bit up in CF. It's faster. I know you can bait his for sure because I've seen it before, but I'm trying to see because I did see Izayue's get bait like that before. There it is. Let's see. Whoa. That is insane. Okay. There you go. Let's go back to Ragnar. So what I'm trying to find out is that if I might actually just stick to her real quick, because I want to find out if Noelle can do the same thing. Because for some reason, every time I try to option select it with Noelle, she just can hit anything. Sometimes. See that? Unless like I don't care what nobody say. I swear she has longer recovery frames now. It feels longer, for sure. Because with Radna, I can bait it easily. But his starter frames is 7 frames, and Noel's starter frames is 6 frames. But the Detatron says like both their recoveries are 10 frames. But why am I having such a hard time getting the option select to work for her? But Radna it's easy. Look at that. I'm not even trying. It's really easy with Radna, but Noel is a different story altogether. So I don't know what the issue with that is, unless like somebody had an error putting it out on the internet that it's 10 frames of recovery and it's actually a lot longer than it actually is saying. Because that should work in theory. Apparently not. Yeah, 2 active frames, 10 recoveries. Well, 6 frames, 3 active frames, and 10 for recovery. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the recovery frame is what should technically matter in terms of being able to block the DP. Nah, I'm not trying to like 2B low profile it. Nah, DP will always catch you. That's not the issue. The problem is option selecting it with 5A or 2A with Noel. Because the recovery frames feel longer than it's actually implying it is, because that's the reason why she keeps getting hit out of it. Because basically my input, I'm basically inputting 4A or 1A. I should be able to option select the DP every time with Noel, but when I try that, it's not working. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to switch characters. I'm going to switch this to Noel. And we're going to put this in the corner. See, it should work like that. Like, my active frames are going through, and then I should have already hit my recovery frames to be able to trigger the proximity guard that will allow me to block the DP. Because I've already went through my frames for my 2A, which is going through the invuln frames of the DP before the DP goes active with its active frames. By the time that happens, my recovery frame should have already expired by that point, allowing me to block it before it actually hits me with its active frames of the DP. That's how that option is supposed to work. But that's not really working with Noel, at least most of the time, unless like the timing is very strict for whatever reason. I can see if it was a problem with Radna's 2A because it's 7 frames on startup, so you have longer frames to go through. So like that's an additional, that's like almost 18 frames worth of action happening before you can go back into a neutral position to even block. With Radna, with Noel, it's shorter, but you're still getting hit out. So I don't know if this like, if it's actually a different amount of frames than they're actually letting on, or I'm not sure. But it has been like one of those things where I've noticed it's been it's a lot harder to get it off with Noel, despite it being a slower DP overall. This is something I was very curious about for a while. So, not sure. Try to see. See if that works. Okay, it should work like that. And it should be like a meaty. Yeah, it should be like a meaty, just like this. Yeah, that's a meaty. So it will hit them if they press any buttons, and then even if they reverse them, 2A should still option select to reverse them. Just like that. See, the timing on that is so strict though. I guess harder with Noelle for some reason. That's bizarre. Even though she has a faster starter frame than Rodney. I mean, yeah, her active frames last longer by 1 frame, but the recovery is still the same. So, that's, I don't know, that's a little weird. No, the hitbox shouldn't really matter, because we were talking about recovery frames. Recovery frames being able to block in general. After you went through your recovery frame, you should be able to block, period. The hitbox shouldn't really matter, even after your frames. Like, that's how it works. But I mean, even if that was the case, I mean, that's, oh man, that is terrible. Like, they basically made it where it's incredibly hard to properly option select the 2A with Noelle. I don't know if that was deliberate or what, I don't know. But it personally kind of pisses me off, though. I mean, as if this character didn't even have enough problems already. So that is something you gotta look out for. So now that we got the timing on that for Izuyoi at least, let's go back to Ragna. Good old Ragi. Let's see if this one's his. Nah, his DB's too fast. Alright, let's see Jim. It should work on his too. Yeah, it works on his DB. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, it's not gonna work against that though. It's gonna definitely catch that shit. Yeah, that's gonna get you. What's some absurd combo with that? Pretty sure it catches that too. Oh, it's too fast. Apparently. I don't know if Femur is going to catch it. So that's like one of the fastest supers in the game. 6 frames. It's too fast for no hold to options like that. Besides, your guard points it anyways. I'm pretty sure it goes the same way where Tusi. Rachel's Tusi. Well, let's go back here. Switch this to 3. That's funny. Meaty 2A can beat the 2C like a. Interesting. Yeah. Let's go back. I want to confirm that this still works. Go with the chin. I think I fixed the macro dash part with the 6C. Confirm that this recording is actually good. Yeah. Okay. Best crush triggers in the game. The range on that is insane. Look at that. Man, I wish Noel had something like that. Man, I'd be going to work on these people. No. Okay. Like cheat. Okay, so Lychee's DP is too fast for that. Take note, people. You're looking at Rodna and Lychee, who you cannot option select on Wake Up with 2A and 5A. Definitely not him. Oh, I mean, actually, I'm interested in this is sure. Yeah, can't do anything about that. That's where this controller is getting me very annoyed. Let's see. This is Typhonka. This is Typhonka. No, we did we did basically what we came to do. As far as that is concerned, this actually is a really good example of how you use training mode to your advantage. So if anything, you learn a thing or two just by watching the lab. If you have any other questions, you can always ask. Or not, I do plan to end the stream relatively soon though, if you guys don't have anything else to talk about. So that definitely is something that is still open. I mean, if you guys rather me play a couple of matches online, I mean, I can do that right now real quick. But outside of that, I mean, I don't have too much to go over. I pretty much went over whatever I had left from the last stream I didn't cover. So let's pretty much check what I got. I can play a couple of matches if you guys want. I don't know if anybody's online. Let's see. Is this English? Pretty sure that's not. Yep. Here's America. Good old 9-ball. This is an OG player, guys, by the way. 9-ball Infinite. This guy's been playing since the first game. So yeah. I actually have on my friends list. This guy is a net play legend. It'd be great to see him playing actually some offline tournaments, though. He's actually really good. Really solid rider. Probably one of the best riders we have in America left. Besides Beta Dude. And maybe like another one. Besides Doza and Beta Dude. And those are like the only other two I know. Outside of that, no. 9-ball, as far as I know, 9-ball doesn't really have the ability to play offline, because I think the scene nearest to him, he has to travel for it to like another state. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, he's not really able to play offline. He's not really able to. He'd be busy with college and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, he's not really able to attend to like offline tourneys or anything of that sort of nature. He's kind of backed up from there. You can catch him online occasionally every here and there, but outside of that, yeah. Oh, good old L point. Dude, I love you. I love you, dude. Oh, dude, where's the love, bro? Where's the love? He probably doesn't even know this is me. I don't know. If he's not watching the stream, he's not gonna know this is me. Say something. Give me emoji. Give me emoji. Come on, dude. Yeah. Yeah, he's just blinking at me. No, I'm Lith. Just passing by. Yep, still on PS3. catch a match somewhere. I feel like last time I tried to play this guy, the PlayStation froze in the loading screen. It just was loading forever. God, I swear, running into Azrael everywhere. Jesus Christ. I mean, we'll play Red City. That one is mad suspicious, though. I don't like that. Won't even play me. Well. Let's see if I can find somebody to play. I'll try here. Even that 3 looks mad suspicious.
Please select your character. Ragna the Blooded.
Please pick the songs then. Thank God. Alright, cool. Get this in play.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Wow, that cross is strong. Oh, that was a bad burst. Oh, that was a terrible burst. That was bad. Yeah, I feel a slight delay too. Might be because I'm streaming.
Rebel 2. Action.
Ouch. Really good. I can't really get that to light you in the patch. So you get a lot of life from that. No, I'm blind. Oh. Cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because I'm streaming or something. Could be even just be streaming. Oh wow, this guy down here is even getting delay. Lag out of nowhere.
Please select your character.
So I guess it's not me. Maybe it's just the server. It's possible. Oh, my controller doesn't stop on me. That's gonna suck.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
This guy had unless he just No, I defeated that. No, Jesus Christ. He called that. He called that. Good shit. Good shit.
Rebel 2. Action.
Oh wow. That's not converted. Damn! That was about to Q right there. I messed that combo up. I gotta get back some health from that. I gotta pop the OD. Did the Fire by Darkness. And got back some health. Stayed in the game longer. I screwed that up. Damn it. I messed up the damn combo. Hold on. I should have figured he was gonna burst too. He could have made the comeback right there. I was gonna run with it. That would have been too much of a gamble. I would have wasted 50 heat if he didn't burst. The reason why I don't go for the 2-1-4D finisher, yeah, it's better Oki that way. That's pretty much the reason why. If you do like the last hit of it, it doesn't present Rana with the Oki.
Rebel 1. Action.
Oh, damn. Not bad. Alright. That's good enough. I respect that. cross really good. That's the dash for that too. I was trying to dodge it. He's gonna go for a staff. Low. Expected. Damn. 2-8, 2-8. Came back at 100 heat.
Rebel 2. Action.
This guy's good. That move is so good. Damn. Ash. Oh, bad. Looks like you caught by the stick somehow. I knew it. The stick is truly impressive. Damn, I should have burst. I mean, I should have caught the burst. Get your ass out of here with that.
Rebel 3. Action.
Whoa, that lag. Jesus Christ. Damn. I should have popped overdrive. I could actually kill him. Damn. Oh, where's his leg? Stop. Damn. No! I tried to bury her and I got the JP instead. Jesus Christ. Net play at its finest, people. Net play at its finest. I'm gonna take that shit to my grave. Jesus Christ. It is what it is. It is what it is. I messed up so many things.
Please select your character.
Man, I am ass.
Ragna the Blooded.
Terrible. That was a good match though. That was a good match for me being incredibly terrible. As a player as of late. Wish I could play offline.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Damn, that thing lasts longer than that.
Rebel 2. Action!
Lag this. Good lord. Start to have some safe combos. Wow, this combo. Damn. Did it again. Man, this delay is killing me. It is good. Although, I will say that. It's pretty good.
やはり彼女をどうにかしなければ。
Yeah, Lyshi's a diff. It's one of those matchups you gotta know that thing. Oh, no wonder. Pack it out. I don't know why I'm saying so long.
Please select your character. Ragna the Blooded.
Yeah, I'll probably play a few guys and then I'll probably close the stream down. Play a few more. Again, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I will address them.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action! Rebel 2. Action!
What is this lag, dude? Holy shit. I'm surprised I did not hit her at all. I'm really surprised that death spike did not hit her at all. I'm talking about that death spike was all up the ass cracker and she still didn't get hit. Hitboxes, people. Hitboxes. Lord have mercy. Man. Yeah, that place is getting worse. Basically, what's going on with the net code on the servers? It's getting crazy. Random mag spikes and stuff. And I just resetted my router recently too, so I don't know what's going on there.
The wheel of fate is turning.
No, I'm skipping like the
Rebel 1. Action.
Wow. Oh, I take. Try to I caught in recovery frames.
Rebel 2. Action.
If I made it, no. Pretty sure he's about to astral. That's probably why he let me out of his combo. Damn, that would have been a great hit. Yeah, he's trying to get me into astral. Messing that up. Fuzzies for days. Yeah, man. You got this. You got this. You're better than me. Definitely better than me. For the time being. Let's see. What we got else in here? King's Era. Who's this? I haven't played much. That don't mean nothing though. Now, is that random? Now until that be like DPing everything in sight. This man's literal offense is I'm pretty sure it's him. I can't remember exactly. This is one Naruto. He does nothing but DP. He DP'd the whole match. It was crazy. Again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to answer. Ask them away. Have nothing. I want to play this guy. I mean, I'm not necessarily prejudiced, but I don't want to play him if he doesn't have too much experience in the game. Can't tense. Another Azrael. Man, it is dead in this lobby. There's like really nobody to play. Only other people who are playing, they're playing somebody else. For the most part. So, don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, this guy's good right here. Legendary Hero. Let me see. Legendary Hero 60. Is this the same guy? I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the guy that was. Yeah, that's him. I think he's slick, not Dante. Yeah, that's like Dante, Red Dante Grave, something like that. He plays Azrael, or remains Azrael. I'm pretty sure that's him. And this is good old, what's her name? Is it Cookie Hour? I want to say this is Cookie Hour. I can't remember. She's like one of these old players from back in the CS era. She was one of the people a lot of people seem to have a problem with, because she used to complain a lot about like playing the game and stuff like that. But I personally don't have a problem with her, but I can't say that for everybody else though. She's not gonna want to play me. Alright, no. I've been there. I've been there, done that. I could sit here for a minute. Just a second. Let's see something like that. Take me. Who's this blue Kaiser guy? Oh, he plays Kyra. That's cool. That whacked. Why not? I guess I can just demonstrate how you deal with 9. Even then, 9 might not be that good.
Please select your character. Ragnar the
Could be somebody
Blooded.
who play offline. Who knows?
9 the Phantom.
Again, if you got any questions, ask away.
ないてめえ何考えてやがる
あら、目の色が変わった。
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action.
Just lag. Yeah. Oh my god. That was so bad.
Rebel 2. Action.
Lag. Like attack. He's gonna smash him. That was actually super. Oh my god, yeah, that's it, bro. I ain't playing. That shit was terrible. It's one thing when it's lagging, but if it's lagging to the point you drop Ragna combos, it's not even worth playing at this point. That shit was terrible. That's how you know it's lagging. Like, there should be no excuse on dropping Ragna combos. It's actually lagging that bad. Brian Rice. I'm sure I've ran into this guy before. Got 1,000 matches with Ragna. He's got a high match with
Please select your character. Ragna the Blooded.
Siege. Oh boy.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action. Rebel 2. Action.
Good. Please don't miss this guy. What? You're gonna kill me! Come on, man. You're slacking. You could have actually killed me with that combo.
Rebel 3. Action.
Can't mash, bro. That's a common spot people like to burst at, but it's not the best. Should have bursted earlier.
Please select your character. Ragna the Blooded. Ragna the Blooded.
Alright. Yeah, it might be just a skill burger. I feel like it's... It might just be this pad. Could be.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action. Rebel 2. Action.
What that lag was. Gosh. What the hell? Man, this lag is killing me. This is why you do not net play. Simple shit. Drop. Man. Shit's terrible. I would prefer to play offline. I do not have that luxury at the moment. I sort of do, and then I kind of don't. Mostly because my love life. That's what that's part of it at the moment. It's taking up all that. I'm not even going to attempt to play 9-ball because he has whooped my ass for the past 6 to 7 years. I have taken a couple of matches off of him, about maybe 12 matches, and that will probably be the best I will ever do against him. While he has whooped me thousands of matches, so I'm not even going to attempt. The guy is clearly better than me. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Good old Dark Arm Dragon. This guy I used to hang out with back in the day. Cookie Hour's not gonna play me. She hardly plays anybody nowadays. It's like she stands on there waiting for somebody to play, and then she just gives you an axe. It's kind of defeats the purpose of you being in a lobby, sort of. I don't know what all that's about. Not a whole lot I can do here. Most of these people, they're playing somebody. Dark Art. I'm play Dark Art. Alright, so I guess that's the stream for now, guys. Unless anybody has any last questions for the stream, for those who are still watching. Now is the time before I shut it down. By the way, for those who stick around as long or are still here, I want to just thank you guys for tuning in to the stream, all that good jazz. It's pretty hard for me to usually get the time to do this, so I appreciate those who were patient enough with me with the whole entire stream thing, even though it keeps cutting off and on because of my controller. For those who bear with it, I appreciate that. I really do. And if you guys ever need any help, just know where to contact me on Deathloop. Not Deathloop, but Discord and whatnot. But yep, Discord. Just PM me or on the server. The Barret Army. Anything of that nature. Also, if you have a chance, you can also check out my channel. Got some videos there if you want to watch or whatnot. So just something to check out. So I'll let it run for about maybe another 3 more minutes. If I got nothing, I'm gonna close the stream. Alright guys, about to close the stream down. Thanks again for tuning in with me. This is your boy Lith with Rain from Discord. We are signing out.